Brothers and sisters, welcome to the three-time award-winning audio podcast channel, Duke Loves Rasslin. We are the exclusive home of the Devon and the Duke podcast featuring WWE Hall of Famer Devon Dudley. And of course, our flagship interview show, Duke Loves Rasslin. We're bringing you the informative, hilarious, and enjoyable episodes each and every week. Subscribe, like, and share with everyone you know so you don't miss a single episode. Duke Loves Rasslin, available wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify. That's right.
Boston class, Roman energy, built to last. Real life talk, real cool, real slick.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the award-winning podcast, Devon and the Duke, hosted by your main man, Duke Loves Rasslin, and of course, the five-time Hall of Famer, the man who's not only a award-winning podcaster, not only a YouTube sensation, but now he is a promoter sensation, because I'm telling you right now, he is running one of the hottest independent promotions on the scene today, and there is no doubt about it. Brother Devon Dudley, what's going on there, bro?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'll tell you, I am so happy that I got a chance to watch DDA Rebound,
Yes.
and I got a chance to see Fuego make that Cecilia Brooks pay the price of a wrestling lifetime, just like I said would happen. She went out there, she was throwing hands, she was out there flipping and flying. It didn't matter that Cecilia Brooks, who you know, she's solid and she's serious and she was being nasty out there, but nonetheless, Fuego was able to get the victory. I am so happy that she disciplined that Cecilia Brooks, but I'm also pretty pissed off, Devon, and I'm going to pick a bone with you on this one. Cecilia Brooks, at the end of the match, after she lost, she's a sore loser. She attacked Fuego, to the horror of the fans who were out there live watching DDA Rebound, to the horror of the fans who were online watching when you were streaming on YouTube. Cecilia Brooks was beaten on the victor, and I need to know right now, she put her hands on the referee and everything. I need to know right now, Mr. General Manager, are you going to suspend Cecilia Brooks for what she did to Fuego?
Well, we're in the process now of getting everything situated with that. I agree it was a disgusting act and it should not have been done, but it was. And we all know in professional wrestling, stuff like that happened. So she will be reprimanded for what she did and for her actions, and that will come at a later time, which will be announced. Myself and other powers that be are discussing the punishment that's going to be with that, and we're going to go from there.
I just want to put this out there. I understand that Fuego, she won the match, and, you know, technically she should be moving on and what have you, but I got to be honest with you, Devon. I think it would be a miscarriage of justice if you don't allow Fuego to get her hands on Cecilia Brooks at least one more time, because this is far from over after that disgusting act. She's a sore loser, and I'm sorry, I'm going to swear right now, she needs her ass kicked. And I know Fuego can do it. And Cecilia Brooks couldn't take her one-on-one straight up, so she had to attack her at the end of the match after she lost. When Fuego turned her back, Cecilia Brooks had to attack her from the back. I'm just saying, Devon, I think Fuego deserves some get back on that.
It looks like you're trying to store up enemies everywhere. You
I already
just
told.
don't
Listen,
care.
Cecilia Brooks had the audacity to go online and call me ugly. And let me just say something: the Duke is a lot of things in the world. All right, I've been called a lot
But
of
not
things.
ugly.
Calling me ugly is kind of stretching
You
it now. Come on. All
like
right,
Joel Gertner said, a damn handsome man.
that's right. But listen, I got to ask you though, because yeah, we had that powerhouse match there. It was fantastic. The crowd was so hot for the entire show, but especially that match. I got to ask you though, who the hell were those humanoids who had the audacity to attack you at the end of the event? I couldn't believe it, Devon. They actually were beating on the 5-time Hall of Famer, Mr. 3D himself. How the hell did that happen when you got these guys hitting you and kicking you and all this fool? Who the hell were those guys?
Well, I should have been able to see that coming, and I didn't. So this shows me being out of touch for a while. Because if this was 10 years ago, I would have saw it coming. But it wasn't, and I'm getting up there in age, so it takes a little bit longer for me to see things for how it is. And I should have known these young punks were going to try to take advantage of a situation. And we're trying to break ice, trying to um, trying to how do I say this? We're trying to develop a friendship and a working relationship with ACW, and yet these guys wanted to come in and do what they did. Here's the deal: I was pissed off about it, but on the way home, I thought about it. That's something me and Bubba would have did, to make a name for ourselves. And but they did it to the wrong person, and they're gonna know that an ass kicking is coming. And as far as I'm concerned, it only takes one time for me to make a phone call, and the Dudley family can be back intact again.
Uh oh.
But
Uh oh.
we'll we'll wait for that and see what happens. But as of for right now, the way they sneak attack me, it's only fitting I sneak attack them. So trust me, there's still some stuff underneath my sleeve. And come October 24th in Orlando with a date, I'm sorry, with a venue that will be named very soon. We're inviting them to show up. Whether they want to sneak through the door, sneak underneath the ring and come out, come on out. Because now we know what we're dealing with and now we're going to be prepared. So, gentlemen, I hope you realize the fight that you chose is a fight that you're not going to want to be involved in. And it's going to cost you dearly. Because, like I said in those 3 commandments, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not mess with the Dudleys. And that's not what I said, but you get the point. They're going to realize that you don't mess with somebody like the Dudley boys and think you're going to get away with it. Young or not, trying to make a name for yourselves or not, you made it on the wrong person. And now you've got to pay.
Oof. You got to pay indeed, and the price is steep. I'm going to tell you, young punks, that right now. The price is steep.
You saw how all the family came out, and pretty much they came out ready to knock him out. And then the whole ACW family got involved, and they decided to pretty much condone what they did in a sense. And I was like, okay, now you started a war. I don't know. Maybe we'll go Survivor Series, their team against our team. We'll see what happens.
Wow. Well, October 24th, that's a Saturday, folks. Doors open at 5 p.m., bell time 6 p.m. DDA Ascension. Okay? I'm telling you right now, you definitely want to check it out. If you head over to the Devon Dudley Academy Instagram page or even Devon's Instagram page, there is a flyer there. There's a QR code for Eventbrite, so you could just snap a photo of that or scan that. You'll be able to get your tickets right away. In fact, you're running a deal right now where folks can save $5 if they get their tickets now, right?
Absolutely. Save $5 on the ticket price. Mm, again, anybody will tell you that's been to our event. It's surprising, it's exciting, and you're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah, the crowd is hot the whole way through. Nothing but energy, which is so great. What I love about it, uh, it's family friendly. So you have grandparents, you have the young kids, and you got everybody in between. I love that. I'm always big on that. I don't like these events that cater to just adults. I think that's a mistake. I love when you can bring the whole family to something. It's old school. It's the way pro wrestling was always supposed to be. So that's really cool. Congratulations, man. Seriously, I'm very proud. I'm very happy to see DDA putting on such great events, man. It's really special.
Thank you. We had people from Puerto Rico that flew down here just for the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People were flying from all over just to come see, and I was shocked when I heard about that, but I was pleasantly happy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. That was really, really cool. Shout out to the whole crew at DDA. I'm not shouting out those knuckleheads over on the other side there. I don't like them. And shame on them for thinking that they could cheap shot you and get away with it. Like you said, the entire DDA family came out, rushed the ring, and chased those guys out. Uh, you know, we can fight amongst each other, but when you put your hands on one of us, you put your hands on all of us, and that's clearly what happened. DDA came out strong, united, ready to defend you. That's amazing. So good
Absolutely.
stuff,
And
man.
I used to say that with me and Bubba. We can fight amongst each other, but don't you do it.
That's right.
I can say
That's
something
right.
bad about Bubba. You can say
That's
something
right.
bad about me, but don't you do it because there's consequences.
Well, hey,
He's still my brother at
there's
the end
that
of the
word
day.
again. There's that word again. Consequences. There's that word
Consequences
again.
indeed.
That's
It was a
right.
great show. We all had a good time. Everybody, regardless to the ending of it, we're not going to put emphasis on that just yet. We will. We'll touch base on that. But all the matches were solid from top to bottom, from the opening to the last. So, I was very happy and content with everything. People, like I said, people from other places came. They drove in. I was very happy about that. Um, the word is getting out that DDA is a force to be reckoned with, and people are taking us seriously. All eyes are on us now, which is great, and I love it.
Yeah, listen, man. It is not easy to build something from the ground up and then build an audience and keep them engaged. So when anyone does that, no matter what form of entertainment or product that you're selling or featuring or what have you, when anyone does that, you got to tip your hat. But it's special to see what you're doing because you have these young, hungry, talented wrestlers who are really putting it on the line. And to hear all the reaction from the crowd, I'm like, wow, because you can't fake that. Anyone could put on a wrestling show, but that doesn't mean you're going to entertain the people. You got somebody who kept playing with the air horn. You got the crowd yelling at the heels and cheering the baby faces. People were jumping up and screaming and clapping and all. I was just completely engaged, man. I was completely engaged and I loved it. It's what wrestling is supposed to be. You know, that's good
Exactly, and
stuff.
that's exactly what we want to do.
That is good stuff. That is good stuff. I'm going to tell you what's not good stuff. This low life, this humanoid by the name of Kevin Owens.
Oh boy, here
The
we go.
guy, the guy has a history of just doing things that just make you shake your head. And I went back and did my research on this, Devon, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm one of the original Ring of Honor fans. I was at the first show. And I was part of the focus group that those folks used in order to figure out who they were going to book for that very first Ring of Honor show. In fact, that's how I really know Rudy Boy Gonzalez. I watched him on TV before that, but seeing him and his students at the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy at the time, seeing them at the Ring of Honor show, that solidified my relationship with him. So I go way back, and I know the history. And I remember Kevin Owens and CM Punk having issues with each other back in Ring of Honor. I remember that. And I remember shoot interviews that Kevin Owens did where he ran his big fat mouth talking about how CM Punk would berate him for wrestling in a t shirt. So I think that's interesting because why are you wrestling in a t-shirt, Kevin? We could start there. I always thought that was goofy. But then I go on the other side to the other low life, that Pepsi drinking freak and CM Punk, and even back in Ring of Honor. CM Punk was not the owner. He was not the booker. He was not in charge of anything, but yet he wanted to flex his muscle and push people around. He would berate Kevin Owens for wearing a t-shirt even when Kevin Owens got permission to wear the damn t-shirt. What kind of nut job sits there and gives you a hard time like that when he's not in charge? So I'm not surprised that these guys to this day still hate each other. And now they're cutting promos on each other in WWE. This is over 20 years later. And they're on a collision course with each other. And just like CM Punk and that no good egg sucking dog Cody Rhodes, I want CM Punk and Kevin Owens to destroy each other. I want them both to lose. So I need to know from you, because you're the expert, you're the legend, you're the Hall of Famer. I need to know from you, how can we manipulate this thing so that both of these guys beat the hell out of each other so well that they never wrestle again? I don't want to see either one of them on my TV ever again. Can we find a way to make that happen, Devon?
Sure, let's get you in the match with them. I think that's a great idea. I think you can lay all your grievance down and settle it once and for all. You don't have to be hide behind the mic. You just go out there, tell them what you feel face to face, have that match going, and I guarantee you they'll be wanting to beat your ass so bad they'll beat themselves up just to get to you.
I was gonna say they'll forget about their issues with each other. They'll just focus on me. Huh?
They'll just turn right on you. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not condoning violence of any sort, but it seems like that you have an issue with both men. You have an issue with several men and women, and you need to let that anger out. Listen, I'm all for it. This is a new time, new day and age. You need to let go, man. You know how they say let go and let God? Well, let go and let it be known that Duke is coming and wants to air out his grievances. I'm with you on that. I'm with you 100%. I'm going to be right behind you.
Unbelievable. This
Right
is not the
behind you.
reaction I expected out of you.
I'm expecting to pat you on the back and say, go get him, Tiger. Go get
Go
like
get
Tony
him,
the
yeah.
Tiger. Go get him, Tiger. I'm with you.
Go get him. That's all I need. That's all I need from these guys. I just think it's ridiculous. The two of them don't know how to behave. So they might as well fight each other. You know what I mean? And I'm rooting for both of them to get the daylights beat out of each other because it doesn't make sense. I never liked either one of them. I want to make that clear. I never liked them. All right? CM Punk has never played a sport. Do you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
He was not an athlete. Unlike you, unlike me, he was never an athlete. So the fact that he wants to walk around pushing people around now that he's a wrestler, I just find that distasteful. I got to be honest with you. I find it distasteful.
This is why.
You were one of those weirdos.
This is why.
Huh?
Listen, this is why I'm saying you need to air out your grievances with them. Go to them personally and talk to them and tell them how you feel.
Okay, well, CM Punk likes to. If CM Punk is out here challenging his fellow comrades in wrestling to a fight, what do you think he's going to do to me?
Give you one big hug and tell you he loves you. It'll be a bear hug, maybe a rear chin lock, but he's going to.
I was going to say he's going to hug me all right. He's going to take his shoulder and throw it into my neck and then just choke me. You ever seen that before in like UFC where that's what they do. It looks like yeah. He's going to use his shoulder to choke me out. I don't need those problems. Anyway, CM Punk, Kevin Owens, you're both a bunch of lowlifes. I want you to destroy each other. Please do it. And hey, Cody Rhodes, you can get in on that too. Please, Cody, get in on that. It would be fantastic.
Now, why do you want Cody to get involved? He's not a part of that.
I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. You know Cody Rhodes says that his favorite rapper is Master P. You know that? I bet you
Well,
didn't know that.
we all like what we like. I mean, Master P would be his favorite. I mean, you got to understand too. He grew up in the South, and the South,
What does that
Master
mean?
P was huge. He was huge.
What does that mean? What,
That's
come on,
Southern rap. That's that
come
Southern
on,
rap, and you know that. You know that.
come on.
Oh, it was
Listen,
huge back in the day.
he didn't say Scarface. He didn't say Lil Wayne. He didn't name somebody who could actually make it work. This fool has the audacity to say Master P. Make him say, ain't nobody listening to that stuff today. Come on. Come
Well,
on.
but they did back then.
Yeah. Yeah, we all did. we all did. We all did. You know. I don't know. I just when I see Cody's face, I just see a face that really needs to be rearranged. And I think everybody is slacking. They're not making it happen. The only person who really gave Cody the business, as far as I'm concerned, is The Rock. When The Rock took that belt off and started whooping that boy, oh my God. There's nothing that has ever come close to being better than that. Whooping that boy.
Mm-mm.
I'm telling you. Okay? And whooping him in
You
front of
know,
his
when I
mama.
saw,
And telling his mama he gonna
you
do it.
know,
Huh?
when I saw that episode, it kind of took me back to the day. And do you remember when Mr. T was when Roddy Piper was beating Mr. T
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
belt? And it caused a lot of
Absolutely.
controversy because it was a white guy beating a black man with a belt, and it kind of made
Mm-hmm.
people think back in the slave days. So when I saw that, I was like, and remember during that incident on that Saturday night's main event, I don't know if he got heat or not for it. I'm sure he probably did. But when Jesse Ventura said, look at this gorilla," or Vince, it's like an episode of Roots. And I was just like, even as a kid, when I
Yes.
saw that, I went, wow. I went, wow.
That's
And it
heat,
made
brother.
me look at that is heat. And when I mean, you say that now, you would not only be canceled, but nobody would ever touch you again,
No
when
way.
you say that. But that brought me back to that when I saw The Rock do that to Cody. And you got to think about it. You know, here it is. It made people think about, again, back in the slavery days, which is why a lot of black people were upset about that. And even some white people were upset about that segment on Saturday night's main event. But now you go 30 years later, 20 years later, and it's the same thing, but it's the opposite. It's a black man beating a white guy. And the white guys from the South and the black guys from up north. So it was kind of like reversed in every way. I was like, holy cow. I was like, wow, this is like, it's incredible how we've come to where back then you didn't say anything. It was kept hush, at least from my knowledge, it was kept hush, unless, because again, I was a kid, so I didn't really know, unless it was said and I didn't know about it, that there was controversy behind that. But I think one of the biggest controversy was what Jesse said when he mentioned roots. I mean, that right there alone was bad in itself. That should not have been said. So it brought back to that. I'm like, man, are they going to get away with this? Are they going to, even though it's kind of like reverse, but people didn't look at it in the same way. So it's like
Absolutely.
we've become sensitive with certain things nowadays. Well, basically everything, but there's certain things that you would think would be people would be sensitive about. They're not so sensitive as much, and it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And if you think about it, it was a white guy beating a black guy, being held down, and now it's a black guy beating a white guy. Did I
That's
say
what
that
made it
right the
so
first
special.
time?
No, you
I
said it
think
right.
that's
You
why a
said it
lot of
exactly right.
okay, yeah, the
Yeah.
white guy beating the black guy, yeah, okay. But and that's what made it different. But also, if you think about it, it's the same thing. The only thing is, it's the race. They flipped it. I was surprised there was no heat from that. I was very surprised.
Well, let me just say this. Cody Rhodes, You've always been an egg sucking dog. We all know that you're a Ric Flair wannabe. We all know that you would have turned on your daddy and sided with the Horsemen if you were alive back in the 80s. We all know this. If The Rock didn't whoop you hard enough, tell your mama she could show up at any point. I will bring the weightlifting belt and I will pick up where The Rock left off because you clearly deserve it. And that's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say about that. You
Wow.
deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Now wait
All
a minute.
right, that's all I'll say about that.
I got two things with you. I got two bones to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
You mentioned about Kevin Owens wrestling with a shirt on. Hello. The first half of my career, I wrestled with a shirt on.
Yeah, but your shirts were actually cool. I don't know about him. You
Well,
actually
I cut
you
them to
wore
show my
shirts that
chest
made
and
sense.
my. I showed the arms. I showed the traps because at
That's right.
one point in my career, I would like to have said I had the biggest traps in pro wrestling at that time. I was
And you
just
flexed them.
so
You
jacked all the
and you
time.
flexed them. That's right.
All the time I
That's
flexed.
right. That's right. That's right. There ain't nothing better than watching D-Von Dudley stand on the middle rope and he's out there flexing. I'm saying this dude think he the road warrior animal or something. What's going on here? You were flexing, Jack. Shirt or no shirt. All right, let's call it what it is. Shirt or no shirt. Anyway, Cody, you know what I'm saying to you. Don't hide behind Devon. You know what I'm saying to you. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. You know,
What are you
Brandy,
saying?
Brandy, I'm sorry that I have to discipline your husband. If nobody else would do it, I'll do it. I'll leave it at that. You know, it's easy for me to talk like this while I'm on the microphone. You know,
Oh,
it
very
is
easy.
what it is.
Listen, you remember what Brandy said to Jade on
Uh-oh.
AEW? Who told you this was open mic night, bitch? I
That's right.
popped
She sure
huge.
did. She
Oh my
sure
God.
did.
When she said that, that got my attention. I popped
This,
huge because
where
this
did
was
that
like,
come from?
it was like two black, this is what goes on. When two black women go at it, that's exactly what goes on. Who told you this was open mic night, bitch? I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah,
And if
yeah.
that didn't
She
get
put
you to wake up and to see that, I don't know what would have. That was that was a good piece of business right there.
she put a little seasoning salt on that bitch too. Did you notice that? She put a
Oh
little
yes, she
on there.
did.
She put some Laurie's on that. She put a little seasoning salt on that one there. It rubbed it
I
in.
was shocked. I was shocked on that when I heard that. I was completely
It,
shocked. I was
it
like, what
rubbed it
the
in.
hell? Yep.
Especially
Did a great
Brandy.
job, Tony, on
Miss
that one.
It's especially Brandy with, Miss Ice Skater. She got those big, beautiful brown eyes, all prim and proper. She came out there and was cussing and carrying on. I said, wait, what in the Tyler
It
Perry is
was a
happening right now?
different side. It was a different side of Brandy that nobody really ever saw. And I saw it way before she did the promo because, Brandy, when I got to WWE, she was still announcing. She
Ah,
hadn't stopped. JoJo was somewhat still. JoJo was just coming in and sort of thing, but Brandy was just making a transition away. And I just remember we were in catering um, in the UK, and I got to know her a little better and this and that. And I was just like, okay. I was like, there's some hood in you. I can see it. I can see some hood in you. Because just the way she was talking, all that, I was like, okay, I got it. I got it. Oh yeah, she
yeah.
black. She black.
Don't don't let them doe eyes fool you, folks. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
You know,
she'll turn the switch on in a heartbeat on you.
that's
And
it.
when I saw that, because I just remember seeing that promo, and I was just like, wow. It was because she really came out with authority. And the way she came out with the head, but going back and forth, and she was pissed. You couldn't get any realer than that. That was so real. I mean, of course, it's a
Well,
work, but the way she came out and did that, it was phenomenal.
well. Here's the problem. In my opinion, it was the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. But it's
What?
like watching. Oh, hold on. It's like watching somebody throw a punch in wrestling. A good punch doesn't look good. All right, a working punch that is taught properly and what have you. You could not be a good puncher, but you can make it look good when you throw a working punch. A person who really knows how to throw a punch, it never looks good on TV. So I'm watching Brandy carry on like that, and I'm saying this is the worst acting I've ever seen. But now listening to the way you're describing it, she wasn't acting. That's just who she is. So that changes the dynamic a little bit there. You know, just a little
Oh,
bit.
it was
Just well,
just a little bit.
she got over with it. She got over with it, and it's
Oh, she
unfortunate
got
that
over
Tony didn't
big.
know what to do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People still talk about it to this day. That is her Reverend Devon moment. How about that? How
Oh
about
my
that?
God, it was a Reverend Devon moment. You got that right.
Can
It
you
definitely
imagine?
was.
Can you imagine if they redid that in WWE? Can you imagine?
Well, I think WWE would have known how to handle it and would have played off of that.
Yeah,
But
they'd
you
make some
can't
money
do
off
that
it.
again. You can't do that again because I mean the way she did it, I don't think it'd be. I don't think it can be duplicated because nobody expected it from her,
Yeah.
and it was like one of those surprising moments. Like for instance, we can't do shock TV anymore, like the way in terms of like when Ozzy Osbourne first came on with his show with the family, which
Oh, of
started
course.
everything in my opinion. That started everything. And
Sure.
we can't do that anymore. You're not gonna be able to get that shock value like that anymore. It's the same thing with the Brandy promo with Jade. You wouldn't be able to do that anymore because it was so out of left field. You didn't see it coming. You didn't see
Yeah,
it coming. And we never knew that Brandy had that side of her. You just didn't know it. You didn't see it. You didn't
but
expect it.
she got over with it. She got over with
She
it. I
got
give her
over with
credit.
big time.
Yeah, she definitely did. Shout out to Brandy. I like Brandy.
She reminds me of my sister.
Uh oh.
Yeah, my sister is a boy. She cuss you out in a heartbeat. She won't think twice about it. And no
Oh,
matter what I say, I couldn't control her.
okay. So I know how to straighten you out the next time you take Cody Rhodes aside. I'm just going to get your sister to come on here and straighten you out. Okay, I get it now.
Okay, don't get ahead of yourself now.
I
She
know how
knows
to
what's
fix
up.
this.
She remember those she remember those headlocks I used to put her in when she was younger. She
Oh, I
remembers.
bet you did. I bet you did.
Oh, I used to practice on her. You doggone right I did.
Listen, don't get the bishop involved now, because you starting to step out of line now here, Devon. Don't make me get the bishop involved.
Listen, you need the bishop out of this.
All right, we might have to bring the big guns now. Come on now, you know. My goodness. Anyway, shout out to Brandy. I'm a big fan of her shot of Brandy show that she has on YouTube. I know that she doesn't do it as often these days, but I really enjoyed that. She would bring somebody over to the house and they would, make drinks and cook, and she would interview them as they're doing that. And I just always found that to be interesting because she is a lot better than even I think she realizes at getting people to open up because it's such a comfortable environment. So, shout out to her. I like her a lot more than I like her husband. I don't like her husband at all, but I do like her. So we'll leave it at that.
I love them both.
Cody Rhodes is the only Rhodes in that family, no matter what side of the family we're talking, that I can't stand. The rest of them, I love them. I love his sister. I can put up with his brother. He has a beautiful kid, lovely wife. His mom is cool. I just don't like him. Simple as that. Anyway, moving on, because I know D-Bon's going to get another call. D-Bon gets calls about these things, folks, and they say, what the hell is this Duke guy's problem? All right? It's just the way that it is, right? That's why we
I
don't
look
talk
at
about
him.
AEW
I
anymore.
tell him. I
Uh-oh.
tell him. I say it's. I tell him. I say he's just special. He just
That-
special.
that's why we
That's my
stay away
special.
from
That's my special
AEW.
friend.
Exactly. You're a special friend. That's why we stay away from AEW. Tony Khan, I'm not going to tell everybody how you have MJF in that company running amok. You pissed off more than half the locker room. And this is not wrestling talk either. You got half the locker room just completely beside themselves because MJF is acting like a tyrant in that place. He's a little Napoleon with his lifts and his boots out there being a complete and utter jerk in that company, and you're letting him do it because he's your little buddy. I find that strange.
Well, hold on. I don't. This is the first I'm hearing about this. What's going on with that?
Well, because everybody wants to talk about their problems over there because there's so many of them. MJF has been running amok in that company. And he's completely pissed everybody off because his problem is different from Punk. Punk was the kind of guy that would challenge you to a fight if you didn't do what he tells you to do. MJF will just whine to Tony and make Tony inflict on you. That's the kind of jerk he is. He'll run to the principal's office. For some reason, Tony Khan likes MJF. They're actually friends, and they're so close friends that MJF gets to do whatever he wants, including push everybody else around. And he's been known to step out of line and cuss at the women. I think he wants to be a woman the way that he carries on. You don't go around cussing at the women. MJF is a lowlife. He's always been a lowlife. I never liked the guy. He's a talented guy, but he relies on cheap
cussing
gimmicks.
at the women.
Exactly what I said.
What do you mean?
He sticks his nose in women business and be cussing at them. He's actually had shouting matches with some of the women in that company. And this is a fact. And I dare you, MJF, to deny that happened. I dare you, because I'll go into details on this show about who you cussed out and what actually happened. Because everybody wants to talk. They're fed up with your bull crap, bro. They're fed up with it. That guy is a loser. I'm telling you right now. Never liked him. Never liked him. That guy is the worst.
Really?
So, absolutely.
Yeah. See, I didn't know any of. I didn't know any of this.
Listen, he's a talented guy. I think he could be the next Jesse the Body Ventura on a microphone. But as far as a wrestler is concerned, give me a break. And for Tony Khan to give him the keys, basically, to the company, this guy's running amok. He is not a value add in any way, shape, or form. He's just been terrible. And he has not elevated anybody else either. The thing about being the world champion, the thing about being the top guy, you got to actually help other people become something too. All MJF does is take. He just takes from everybody. He doesn't add anything to them. They're not better because of him. And don't take my word for it. Just go down the line. Who has MJF ever made? Who? Who's a bigger name because of him? Nobody.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've been out of touch, storyline wise with both companies. I haven't really had the time to watch it. Just because of everything that I've got going on outside of, what I'm doing, from family life to businesses. So it's very hard for me to catch a lot of the stuff that you're talking about unless I see it on YouTube or I see videos, pertaining to it. And that's really how I get a lot of my fix. And then what happens is I'll see something like about what maybe you're saying, and I'll go back and start taking a look at stuff and I'll see it. But I didn't know anything about that.
It's bad. It's bad. There's a reason why that company continues to underperform. There's a reason why people stop watching that company, including you. It's not an entertaining watch. It doesn't make sense that your top guy is MJF. It doesn't make sense that you put the belt on Darby Allin when you did and he failed. And I don't blame him for that. He should have never had the belt. How do you have a guy like Bobby Lashley in that company, who's the most believable person to ever step foot in that company, and he's not your world champion? That's embarrassing. It's completely embarrassing. Simple as that. Simple as that. Tony Khan, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I didn't know any of this. So it was, you got me on that one. So I got to start brushing up. But, I got to start finding time to take a look at some of this stuff again because, again, I've been overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. Sometimes you'll call me and you'll say, hey, make sure you watch this tonight so we could talk about it on TV. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, and I'll watch it. But unless you tell me, or unless I really have the time to sit down and watch it, I don't watch it as much anymore. But now I'm going to have to start watching it more now.
Well, I can tell you without a doubt, there's nothing happening in AEW worth watching at this point. Tony Khan has completely mismanaged everything so badly, it's not even worth watching. It's not, you know, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of talented people in that company, but he put his faith in the wrong people, and he consistently does that, and they just burn him at every turn. They just burn him.
Is this what's being said?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I'll say it again. I don't really care because some of you humanoids out there, you're going to take everything that I'm saying here. You're going to say, "Oh, Duke's just making it up. That's not." Listen, folks, we don't talk like this without having somebody on the other side saying to us, "Hey, this is what's happening." I'm just going to tell you like that. You know what I mean? There's never been a time in the existence of AEW where I haven't had people in that company tell me everything that's going on, and Devon as
And
well,
that's
which is
no, no,
how.
and that's it. And
Huh?
that's the truth. I will say
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
I've seen it and heard it personally, where people have
Personally,
told you or me about the going ons. Listen, there's a leak in every locker room,
absolutely,
and the bad thing about it
absolutely.
is when it's negative, they will sing as loud as a canary would, to let it known that they're unhappy. Certain people are unhappy or whatever. It does take a while for people when good things happen for them to tell you that, but when things go down where it's bad, those leaks will quickly tell people what's going on, and you have them going on. So yes, I will attest to what you're saying that we do get people that tells us this. Yes, absolutely.
And I'll say another thing, and this is going to piss everybody off that I'm bringing this to light, but I'm going to do it. And shout out to our friends over there at Strictly for the Culture, fantastic clothing and lifestyle brand, based in Canada. They are always bigging everybody up, but especially people of color, especially Black folk. Um, they're a great brand, and they're huge wrestling fans. They pay attention to what's going on. You can find them on all your social medias, all that good stuff. Uh, MJF, a couple years back, he was playing what I like to call oppression Olympics, where he essentially said the Holocaust was worse than the transatlantic slave trade. So he took the Holocaust and slavery and tried to compare the two and elevate one over the other. Like, oh, well, they had it. Our people had it a lot worse than your people, and it's embarrassing. And MJF can't deny that he said it because he tweeted it, and everybody has the screenshots of it. And shout out to Strictly for the Culture because they will repost that every couple of weeks to remind everybody this is the kind of person that guy is. Why on earth would you take two of the most horrific things that's ever happened in known human history and try to pit folks against each other and make one worse than the other? They're both terrible. They're both
I was
terrible.
just about to say. I was just about to say. Both incidents was terrible. It should have never happened. But I will say this: there are people of the Jewish faith that feel that the Holocaust was worse than that. And, I've heard that being said before. So it wasn't just MJF. If he did say that, it wasn't just him. I've heard people say that of the Jewish faith because of what Hitler did, to the Jewish people and burning them, putting them in the ovens and all of that. But again, people don't realize what African Americans had to go through. Number one, being brought over here on ships and being treated like the way they would treat it. It was a terrible tragedy. It was a terrible tragedy on both parts. And I think you're right. We shouldn't sit here and try to see which one was worse. How about we just say they both were atrocious? They both were ridiculous. It should have never happened. That's the way I
That's
look
it.
at it.
That's it. You know, I don't sit here and try to play games like that because I know my history. And quite frankly, I know your history out there. You know, I got Jewish blood in me too, folks. I know the history. And I'll take it a step further. I got Palestinian blood in me too, and I know that history. All I'm saying is when we talk about atrocities, human beings are imperfect. We know that. That's why Jesus died for our sins. If you are a follower of Jesus and what have you, we understand that. Human beings are terrible, and human beings do terrible things to one another. I'm not going to sit here and try to say that my historical tragedy is worse than yours or vice versa. I don't think that's okay. I will say that we all have been harmed, and we all should find ways to not end up becoming the very thing that we're supposed to be standing against. And unfortunately, throughout history, that happens time and time again. And we're seeing it around the world today. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So I will just bring it back to the original point, though. I think MJF, he's a young guy. I think he's very immature. I think that he's full of himself. And I think that he has not had enough guidance in his life. And that's why he acts the way that he acts as a human being. And I'm just telling you, MJF, you're on a path that can only end badly in general. Because the world is not going to continue to enable and put up with your line of bullcrap. You better smarten up. And I'm telling you that straight up. And this isn't me joking either. I'm telling you that straight up, MJF. You need to smarten up, bro. Because the way that you're going and talking like that, you think that's cool. It ain't cool. And shame on all of you black folk out there who know that dude and you haven't checked him on that. All of you. Shame on you for that. I'm not saying you can't be friends with somebody. I'm not saying your friends can't make mistakes and say stupid stuff because they're ignorant, but it's incumbent upon you to check your friends. That's what a real friend does. I'll leave it at that. I'll
Was
leave
this
it at
said
that.
recently?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. And he doubled
Oh, two
down on
years
it. It
ago.
wasn't. I'll send you all the information so you can see for yourself because he tweeted it. He put his name on it. That's how he feels. And I'll just tell him that. How I feel is that you're a low life scumbag bastard. That's how I feel, MJF. How about that? So so then when you see comments like that from him, and then you see at a live event where he throws an alcoholic drink on a young black child,
Wait,
these
whoa,
things
what?
happening. That happened a couple of years ago too during a match. He literally took a drink from somebody in the crowd and then he just threw it at a young black child.
Was he trying to aim for somebody else?
No, he did it on purpose. And it wasn't part of the show. The kid had no idea, and the kid's parents had no idea that MJF was going to do that. And other people ran damage control to try to quiet the kid down and stuff like that because it's pretty traumatic.
The phone
Not only do
calls
you get a drink thrown
in the
on you
box. Okay.
during a live pay-per-view, it's an alcoholic drink you get thrown on you.
How
Right?
old was the kid?
The kid couldn't have been more than 8 years old.
Oh God,
It's a
yeah,
young
yeah,
kid.
yeah. That's not good.
I would have beat the hell out of
Yeah,
him. I would have
yeah.
beat
You
the
can't do that.
daylights out of him. They would have had to arrest me that night. But see,
Yeah, I
these things
understand.
happening individually, they are what they are. But the sum of all parts, Devon, you start to wonder what's really up with this guy. That's how I feel.
I mean, I know. Okay, I know in ECW, we did things for Shark TV and things like that. We almost got booted off the- we got almost booted off a pay per view because of it.
Oh, I remember
But
that.
in term, yeah, yeah, our arena, yeah. But throwing a drink on a kid, draw the line on that one. I mean,
Especially when it's not part of the show, you know.
we've done some crazy stuff. I mean, we've done some crazy stuff, but we did it to adults. We did it to adults, not the kids. I might have done something to where a kid might have had a sign and I ripped it up. And then I felt bad about it because the kid was crying. It probably took them months to make that sign, and I'm being the jackass that I was and saw the sign because I didn't like it and ripped it up. But that was the extent of it. Or they're putting their hands up to give me a high five. And I'm like, yeah, 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 you good, and I put my hand back. It was stuff like that
Classic.
we did, but nothing like that. Mm-mm. No, no, no,
I
no,
just
nothing
think
like
that
that.
there's not enough boundaries for that guy, and that's the problem. Somebody's got to rein him in, because if you reined him in, he could be he could actually draw some money. Unfortunately, he continues to just be a colossal disappointment in every way.
Well, again, some people, I don't even know what to say. I mean, the whole kid. See, I didn't know about that. The whole kid thing throws me off now. But some people take it to another level. That's the thing. But there's certain levels you shouldn't touch. I'm floored by what you're telling me. I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's the gift and the curse of keeping an eye on everything, man. And shout out to our wonderful listeners. They always send me stuff and challenge me to be aware, quite frankly. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, do you know that this is happening? And when you show me a tweet from somebody and I can click on the link and it's their page and it's actually what they said and they're arguing in the comments with people about it, yeah, I can't make an excuse for that. That's just a low life, you know? That's just a low
Hold on,
life.
I got another bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
I was in Massachusetts at the big ass bad, and totally forgot your ass never showed up.
Yeah, I got held
Nor
up.
nor nor did you call me to tell me you weren't coming in.
I got held up. And you know
Talk
what?
about a blood sucking whatever. That's the third time you've done that to me, just so you know.
I knew it was coming. Yeah, and you had to wait until we on the air. You're going to air me out. I knew it was coming.
Well,
I knew it was
when I
coming.
spoke to you last, when I hung up the phone with you last, I said I forgot to ask him about what happened and why he wasn't at Kowloon's. And then I was like, I'm gonna ask him on the air and see what he says.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I will just say
Hmm.
this. I have sinned.
Hmm. I bet you did, brother love.
Listen, don't call me
We all
that. Then
know
you're
how I
going to
feel
really
about
beat me
that.
up. Then you really
I'm
going to
about to
beat
say
me
we
up if you
all
call
know.
me that.
Brother, I love you. But
that's
just because I
that's
love
it.
you don't mean I
That's it.
got to
I
like
saw I saw
you.
something where I saw something where Coach said that he was gonna beat Bruce Pritchard up. He was late 4 minutes, and Bruce Pritchard must have cussed him
He
out
was gonna
over it. And
what?
he said he was gonna put hands on Bruce Pritchard over it. I said, "Oh
When
Lord,
was
okay."
this?
Well, I guess this was the last time he was working at the company, Coach Jonathan Coachman. But he let the world know he was going to put hands on Bruce for cussing him out for being late 4 minutes.
Well,
So
there's a lot of people, from my understanding, that basically had a gripe with Bruce.
yeah,
Um, you know, you hear stories about it all the time, and I just choose to leave it in God's hands. And what gets me is, and I'm gonna do a little thing here. We all say this. I'm gonna leave it in God's hands. I'm gonna leave it and let God fight my battles and this and that. But then we tend to forget that when it starts getting bad, we tend to want to take it into our own hands. And now, instead of waiting for God, we do it. We do it ourselves. So we forget about what we're preaching. And I feel, again, we need to let God handle the situation. And as many people who has mentioned, or things that I've heard over the years, you know, about incidents that they might have had with Bruce or with anybody else who they felt wronged them or didn't like how they were being treated. It will all come back. Trust me when I say it. It'll all come back. You've got to be patient. It's not on our time, it's on his time. And his time is always the right time.
D-Von, what's the best way everybody can reach you?
Well, reach me on Testify Devon on Instagram, Testify Devon on Twitter. And also you can catch me on my YouTube channel, um, which is Devon Dudley. We were going through a little change. So we haven't had videos up excuse me, for a couple of weeks now, but we're going through a little bit of a change, writers and all of that. So, we got a new video coming up soon. So please don't worry. We'll be back up and running again. And that's the best way you can pretty much get in touch. Also, remember, DDA, and sanctions coming October 24th. We will announce the date for that. I'm sorry. We will announce the venue that it's going to happen. And again, if you thought the last two shows were good, you're really gonna love the next one. We got a lot of action coming our way, and believe me, ACW, you will pay for what you did.
Yeah, y'all better pay for what you did because you shouldn't. You putting hands on Devon Dudley. You done caused hard times on the Devon
Brother.
Dudley and the DDA family. Okay, so I'm putting that out there. That's right.
No, I was gonna say, if you ever took a trip down in Cobb County, Georgia,
Hard
doing a
times.
hard time.
I forgot about that. I love that. Shout out to the big boss man. God rest his soul. Oh my God, hard times. That's right. You know, as always, folks, Duke Loves Rasslin on Facebook, on X, Duke Loves Rasslin at gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show and all that good stuff. Next episode, we're going to do our normal conversation about wrestling and hot topics and what have you. But then we're going to, the second half of the episode, we're going to dedicate to the most talked about subject in the country right now, which is a trial that's happening here in Massachusetts. It's the Lindsay Clancy trial. So I'm putting out a disclaimer right now, and next episode we'll put out a disclaimer on that, folks. We are going to be discussing postpartum depression. We are going to be discussing some pretty serious, heavy topics there. It's something that our audience has asked for. Devon and I, we discuss life and we have different perspectives on things, and we're able to discuss complex issues in a respectful and informed manner, quite frankly, an adult manner. So we're going to be giving our thoughts on that, especially perspective of if we were jurors, how would we react to some of the information that's being put out there? And really the ultimate question, based on all the evidence that's been presented, would we convict? Would be in favor of that? So we're gonna take our time and be respectful and dig into that. But next episode, next week, we'll definitely be talking about that Lindsay Clancy trial. So stay tuned. Until then, though, what do you got for our word of the week, brother?
Well, I thought about it, and I think the word of the week is be very careful on who you pick your fight with. Like one of the greats said, you don't bring a stick to a fight with a guy with a machine gun.
Whew.
DDA has machine guns. ACW, be prepared. Put your little stick away, your little 2x4, as if not, we're gonna blow you away.
Testify.
My brother.